Hi, good morning, everyone. I really appreciate, on behalf of the China Advertising Association, that all of you get up so early in the morning to attend this CAA function. A little bit of introduction. Today we're going to have a discussion about the insider guides into the China advertising market. So I'm Pully Zhau, who is the Vice President of the China Advertising Association, also CEO of Saatchi Saatchi. Among the 26 years of advertising experience, 10 years of which I have lived in China and still living in China. And at the same time, one thing that I'm very proud of is 2 months ago I attended on behalf of the advertising industry in the BOA Asia Forum, which is a representation of how the Chinese government really value the importance of the advertising industry in contributing to economic growth. So joining me today on the forum are the real experts from the China advertising industry. I'm going to give all the details later on during the section. So if you want to wave to the audience, Ms. Lorna Davis, who is the President and Chairman of Kraft Foods, China. Ms. Wang Xin Belinda, who is the Co-President and Chief Marketing Officer of Sohu.com. And Mr. S.Y. Lau, Executive VP of Tencent. So I'm going to just give a little bit backdrop before the speakers go deeper dive into their point of view. A lot of discussion about the economic recession. China is not immune to global economic downturn. However, there are a lot of optimism. So based on the factor that the industry, the overall GDP growth is projected at 8% throughout the year. And Chinese consumers are actually relatively optimistic. Now, this figure is actually from the Boston Consulting Group figures that was released back in the first quarter, 2009. 75% of the Chinese consumers are not willing to reduce their spending, although they admit that they will become more selective, more discerning, and value conscious. But we still hear a lot about consumers wanting to trade up. With the same budget, they do want to trade up to better brands. And there's a strong sense of security grounded in Chinese people's saving habit. So we are going to share some data afterwards. And because of the one-child policy in China, anything the family would cut, they won't cut any spending relating to the child. So again, I borrowed this chart from the Boston Consulting Group, the study that they did in China in January. So from the city tier, you can see that the chart, the top 3 cities all the way to the tier 4 cities. And the household income it goes higher. And in the top 3 cities, the affluent people, they are secure because of the savings they've got, but anxious. And for the top 3 cities, for the middle income, basically, life goes on. So the spending, they will continue. And for tier 3, tier 2 city, a bit of insecurity for the low-income group, but they survive. And again, when we go deep down into the tier 4 cities, we find out that downturn, they have no idea what downturn is about. So if we look at the Chinese household income distribution in tier 2 and tier 3 cities, this is actually a quantitative survey that we did Saatchi Saatchi did in May. And very recent data, very consistent with the other third-party quantitative data that we have found. Almost half of the income or the usage is into investment and savings. So this fundamentally is a very different concept, whereas in the West, spending is about everything you go put out to buy brands to fulfill some kind of consumption. And for the Chinese families, they see savings and investment as part of the spending. So that is a safety blanket to these people in the economic recession. And because of the one-child policy, baby first, no kidding. 70 million babies were born in year 2008, according to government data, and 100 million infants under the age of 6. So if you look at the absolute numbers, the total universe of these infants under 6 years old equals to 1/3 of American population. It's a big number. In the current structure, one family, one baby, 2 parents, 4 grandparents. There are a lot of love and attention within the extended family. And that's why these families prioritize the spending on, anything that has to relate to the baby, not just milk powder, not just diapers, but education, kindergarten, apartments. You need to have parents moving in to take care of the kid, and also buy a new car and separate washing machines. So all these industries are being boosted by this one-child policy. And what we saw from the Q1 data, just the milk powder spending in Q1 has dramatically increased.